source of all supply. Is the source of all supply. Very good morning, very pleasant good morning, East Bay. It's so wonderful to see your beautiful faces. It is the lovely exchange. Just want to praise the Spirit today. Yes. And I lift my voice to worship you. Oh, my soul, rejoice. Take joy, Spirit, in what you hear. Let me be the sweet, sweet sound in your ear.
So as we open this service with prayer, just recognizing in this moment that I am a prayer that's been answered. And recognizing that each and every one of us is a prayer that's been answered. But there are many who have been praying for us as we've been praying as well. And so I'm surrendering in this moment to any idea of what I think I am in its fleshly form, and allowing Spirit to just use me, and recognizing that this larynx and this voice box cannot be used without the consciousness of Spirit, and that every word that come out of my mouth being anointed, may it be a blessing. Be something be said that reminds us that we are as bright as the sun is today. And that light that we are can never be tarnished by any experience or circumstances in our life. And so I'm just thankful for that alone. I'm thankful to know that there is only one life. And that life is God's life, and God's life is the life that we're living. It is a life that is so present in each and everything. It is a life that has been created from a mastermind. And the mastermind who knew exactly what the art project would look like and come into full expression of beauty. And that's what each and every one of us is. In art piece, a mastermind. When we're so connected, we're so interwoven, we're so threaded into this mastermind, into this beauty, that we are just as bright as the sun, we're just as deep as the ocean, we're just as beautiful as well as complex and mystical as every part of this dimension of this thing that we call the universe. And it is this very thing that we live in, we live as, we live through, we live by, because it is who we are, it is what we are, that is God. And I know what is true for what I call the Holy Spirit is true for each and every one of you. And so it is in this awareness, it's in this power, this truth, this magnificent beauty, this consciousness, this expansiveness that I, Tina Bathsheba Harambee, I speak my word and I declare that today is another profound, beautiful, amazing, creative day for each and every one of us. I speak my word that today is a day that Reverend Celeste is being used as an angelical voice of God, used as the power of love, used to be anointed with words to speak the word of truth, used as a symbol of love, used as wisdom. Reverend Celeste is the prayer that we prayed for. She is the covenant that we asked for. And I know this to be the truth. And what is true for Reverend Celeste is true for each and every individual in here. You're not here by design because of a clock or time. You're here because God anointed for you to be here. And it is in that anointing right now that is something being received at the cellular level of who you are. And that is love penetrating through you right now. That is God speaking to you right now in the essence, in the voice, in the spirit, in the energy, in the power, the synergies, and everything that is vibrating in this universe. There's an undercurrent that is constantly pushing the ocean, and that undercurrent is what's pushing you forward, each and every one of us, into the magnificence of what we are and what we're to stand in, this consciousness. And so I'm giving thanks today. I'm giving thanks that East Bay Church is a pillar here in Oakland. I'm giving thanks that it is a consciousness that stands in spiritual principle and truth. I'm giving thanks that it is a place for restoring and restorative practices. I'm giving thanks for the meditation and the mindfulness. I'm giving thanks for the business and the order. I'm giving thanks for the board of trustees. I'm giving thanks because each and everything that comes through here, from a plant to an animal to a human being, is always blessed. I'm giving thanks for that. And it's from this place of awareness that I know that today is another day that is truly, 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 truly from the depths of our heart, another moment to be in such depth of gratitude. A gratitude that saturates us from the top of our head to the bottom of our feet. A gratitude that will be extended through the days. And I give thanks for that. And it is from this place of gratitude that I release my word into the law, where I know that the law has already responded, because it is the law, it is the love and law that works together, that absolutely corresponding together to make sure that this day is already perfect. And it's so perfect that the only thing that we have to do is surrender into it, accept it, be it. And so I release it with so much love and so much gratitude by saying Ashe, Amen, Amen, and so it is. And so it is. Yes. 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 Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to East Bay Church of Religious Science. Thank you for being here. Look around the room and look at who's next to you. Recognizing that this is truly a love you. And so as we give our others an opportunity to come in at this time, would like to invite each and every one of you, underneath your chair, there is a folder that has the Declaration of Principles in it. And we're going to be reading our Declaration of Principles together. And we would like for everyone to stand to read the Declaration of Principles. And if you're new for the very first time, right underneath the seat before you is a white folder that has the Declaration of Principles in it. And this declaration is what we believe here at East Bay Church of Religious Science. And so we're going to do this together. I believe. I believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is a logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God. I believe in the incarnation of the Spirit in all, that I am the incarnation of the one Spirit. I believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul, forever and ever expanding. I believe that the kingdom of heaven is within us, and that I experience this kingdom to the degree that I become conscious of it. I believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. I believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. I believe that God is personal to all who feel his indwelling presence. I believe in the direct revelation of truth through my intuitive and spiritual nature, and that anyone may become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God. I believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that God is surrounded by this creative mind, which receives the direct impress of my thoughts and
Church of Religious Science, and it is my joy to welcome you here today. I want you to know that you are winners. I think the Warriors have made that very clear. And so I also want you to know that we are an open and affirming community, and that you are welcome from whatever walk that you walk on this plane, whatever body that you are dealing with on this plane, whatever faith and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, please know that you are welcome here. Now let's reach out and touch. Reach out and touch someone near you or someone that you don't know, and allow that person to feel your life.
That has a speaker on it as well.
I want to ask if there is anyone who is here for the first time. If this is not your first time, you should be sitting down. If this is your first time at East Bay, please stand so that we may confer a blessing upon you. Wonderful. And the congregation raises our hands in your direction, and we say, welcome to East Bay.
Welcome to East Bay.
We know who you are.
We know who you are.
You are an individualized expression of love, intelligence, and beauty.
You are an individualized expression of love, intelligence, and beauty.
You are a special way that God is happening on this planet.
You are a special way that God is happening on this planet.
And we thank God for you.
And we thank God for you.
Welcome to the East Bay Church of Religious Science. Please take your seats with honor and know that you are loved.
So at this time, we will have community opportunities to absolutely give you some insight on some of the wonderful programs and things that are taking place here at Eastwood Church. First, I would like to introduce myself and let you know a little bit about the scarf that I have on. So I am Tina Bathsheba Harambe, and I am one of your licensed practitioners here at Eastwood Church. And there are many licensed practitioners that are here in the congregation that has on a purple stole. A few may not have on a stole, but we're here to pray for you after service. So if you come to church and you would like prayer after service, please make sure you reach out to one of the practitioners. They will love to pray for you. It's what we love to do is pray.
Amen.
And so we will have someone from announcements to come on up and make all the announcements. Thank you.
Good morning, East Bay. Good morning. My name is Constance Slider-Pierre, and it is my privilege to provide the community opportunities for this Sunday, June 10th. First-time visitors, please come to the tape room after service to get a free CD or a DVD copy of today's service. It's another way for us to say welcome and thank you for your presence here today. Service. Each month, we recognize one of the many service opportunities at East Bay. This month, we acknowledge and celebrate our Connection Service champions. Today, we honor membership and treasury team, and we'll be joined by Precious and Georgia.
Good morning, East Bay.
Good morning.
I have been asked to give you an overview of the handling and the processing of your money, the physical money that comes into East Bay Church, because there is some online donations that come to our church. First, we have the Sunday Treasury Team, which consists of committed, conscientious, and consistent tithers. These team members, they receive their offering at the end of the service. It is taken, it is separated, counted, and recorded. And then it's placed in a safe for the finance team, which comes in during the week. With the finance team, the treasury team, we changed the name. The treasury team meets on Sunday, and the finance team meets during the week. So the finance team also consists of consistent tithers, they're conscientious, and they're committed to East Bay Church. We reconcile the Sunday morning offering, the youth offering, which is also included in Sunday morning, the midweek service. We also reconcile the class fees, the bookstore monies. Midweek money comes in. During the week, checks are mailed into the church. We handle those. We also handle the office and parking space rental. The money is counted again, is then submitted to our treasurer. We create a report that is submitted to our treasurer. The money is then taken to the bank where it is deposited in East Bay's account. So on behalf of the treasury team and the finance team, we thank you so much for your gracious giving. We also want to acknowledge that your generosity is what has maintained the financial integrity of East Bay Church. But it's not time for us to step back. It's time for us actually to step up and more of us to participate in the support of our programs, our ministries, and the upkeep of East Bay Church.
Amen.
Good morning, East Bay. Good morning. You all are probably used to seeing me up here. It's always such a joy. And I'm here to speak about the membership ministry. But first, I have to share a couple of things that have just made me smile. Walking in today feeling a little dewy, having to walk a little further away because of the street fair that I completely forgot about. First, this is such a special place. place. I have a unique name, and today I found that I am not alone. The lovely lady there with the beautiful baby in chartreuse, also named Precious, which means she's awesome. And the other person making me smile is Brother Amar Casey, because you all know he rocks a suit every Sunday, but today his suit is gorgeous. Attributes that we have here at East Bay Church is our community. And while the ministry that I manage is called membership ministry, really it's community ministry. Yeah. We have a lot of people who, for whatever reason, have not taken the full leap of membership, but they have been devoted and committed since the Preservation Park days, some since the Bjornson Hall days. And what we on membership are focused on is deepening the sense and the reality of the community that we are. So, actually, it's always kind of interesting. When I first came to East Bay, I'm one of the Telegraph babies. I was not part of the earlier communities, but you all have welcomed me, and what I seek to do and what this team seeks to do is extend that same loving energy and that same knowingness of the truth of each and every one of us to each and every member here. And so we'll be doing that through various programs throughout the year, starting with next week's Mind Over Matter newsletter, where we'll be highlighting various members in the church. We're not looking for someone who's done the most service. We're not looking for the member who's been around the longest. We're a large church. We're just looking for members. So you meet someone new, you see a face, you find out what their East Bay story is, you see that beyond the church, you have so much in common. And we want to take the love and community beyond the walls here today. If you are interested in being a part of that movement, please see me. In addition to the member spotlight, of course, we are responsible for the membership database, and you all remember what fun we had with the election. And so we are working on cleaning that up, and we will be reaching out to you all for updated member surveys. It's important that we have the right information for each and every one of you, because each and every one of you is so vital to the work that we do. Finally, Reverend Celeste is giving me the look. We have a few other activities that we are fleshing out, primarily in conjunction with some of the other ministries. So again, if you have any questions, especially if you are one of those Bornston Hall members or Preservation Park Hall members who wants to tell me what it used to be like, I welcome those stories. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Precious and Georgia. So if you don't get enough East Bay Church on Sunday, there are opportunities for you to be engaged and with us on Wednesday and come and experience a little midweek inspiration. This week's speaker is Reverend Darren Abbott. Thank you. Avent. Meditation begins at 6:15 and the service begins at 6:30, and the topic is Your Invisible Force. Classes and workshops. It is time for our summer series, Visioning, Revealing, and Transformation. You can find the list of 2018 summer classes and workshops in the front of the church and online at ebcrs.org. You can register and pay for classes online, as well as pay for classes and workshops at the kiosk after today's service. The suggestion box. I believe it's right back there in the back of the sanctuary. Please just put your suggestion in it. Please only put suggestions in that box, not forms. or prayer requests or checks. And please ask an usher if you have any questions. It is a really great opportunity to give your brilliant thoughts on how we can make East Bay a greater church and place to worship and be in community. Health and wellness. There will be a meeting of the Health and Wellness Ministry next Monday. That is awesome. June 11th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. For more information, call Kuwait. Thank you. Kuwaza Imara at 510-363-8123. Kwaza, are you here? Please stand up. Thank you. There is also a midday meditation. This is new. Do you know that we have meditation during the week on Tuesdays through Fridays from 12:30 to 1 o'clock? Join one of the ministers for a midday meditation and bring peace to your day. And this week at East Bay, the Beacon of Light, which is the prison ministry, at 4 p.m. on Wednesday, June 13th. I believe this means they will be meeting. Great. Most of us know that today is the Temescal Street Fair. East Bay Church will have a presence at the fair today along Telegraph, and we need SEVA support from the community. All music ministry meeting. There will be an all choirs music ministry meeting at 1 p.m. on Sunday, July 1st. If you are a member of any of East Bay's choirs, music groups, and or play for any of those ministries, Reverend Celeste would highly encourage you to attend this meeting. Thank you for allowing me to be your community opportunities shepherd today, and have a wonderful week.
Good morning, East Bay family. How's everybody doing today? Good. So I'm a tall guy, so I got to come over here way up. My name is Robert Wallace. I'm a long-term church member, 18 years. You might know me as a part-time drummer with the band, but I'm really known as a full-time dad to Liberty, Trinity, and Grace. And all of my kids have grown up in the church, and it's been the best 18 years of my life. But how many of you like the recent blockbuster film, The Black Panther? How many people have seen The Black Panther? How many have seen it more than once? Well, I have an incredible event that we're going to be bringing to the church. There's an event at the church. I'm sorry, I think Arlene cleared it up, but if you want to...
Well, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for being here for 18 years. And we're going to move forward with our musical inspiration. I thought you was part of your band. Anyway, move right on.
Good morning, East Bay. Sometimes I love this song because we live in a very fast-paced world where we don't seem to have a lot of time. And sometimes we simply need to be still.
Yes, amen.
I need to be still so God can love me. I need to be still so God can love me. When this old world starts to push let God love me. I need to be still and let God love me. I need to be still, be still, be still, and let God love me. When this old world starts to push and shove me, I need to be still and let God love me. Sometimes we just need to relax and let God take over. We need to relax, 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 and let God take over. Take this load off my shoulders. We need to relax and let God take over. Please, just one stanza for us, Elliot. When this old world starts to push and shove me, I need to relax, 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 and let God love me. That's it. This is beautiful. Can you guys feel the spirit in this place? Yes. Let's sing about that. Yes. I want your help too. I'm going to need your help. At least stomp your feet, foot, or feet to clap your hands. Can you feel the spirit in this place? Can you feel the spirit in this place? That's okay. I love this. Isn't this human? We're having a human moment. Those happen. Still can feel the spirit, can't you? Love it. Can you feel the spirit in this place? Song because sometimes we need to go back. We are where our ancestors, what kind of music they listened to. My mother's mother, my mother's mother's mother. The types of music that sustained us in adversity. This is the way they usually do it back in the south, in the south. Well, can you feel the spirit in this place? Well, can you feel the spirit in this place? Oh yeah. I said I turned around to find follow the ground. Just what I need to be forward bound. Can't you feel the spirit in this place? Well, can't you feel the spirit in this place? Well, can't you feel the spirit in this place? Oh yeah. I said I turned around to find hollow ground. Just what I need to be upward bound. Can't you feel the spirit in this place? Play it for me, Ellis. This one. Oh yeah. I said I turned around to find follow ground, just when I need to be upward bound. Can't you feel God's spirit in this place? We're just gonna say this and close out. Praise the Lord with me. Well, praise the Lord with me. Oh yeah, praise the Lord on one accord. It can set you free. Praise the Lord with me.
So she's asking your question if you can feel the spirit in this place.
Yes. Amen.
I just heard amen, that's all I heard.
Amen.
Okay. Can you feel the spirit when you're not at East Bay?
Amen. Come on now.
I know what you say,
Mm-hmm.
and I know what you do. This week's topic is maybe. I'm going to get to that in just a moment. But CSL's theme for June is spiritual wisdom and how to follow it. And of course, my interpretation of that is when Daddy gets home.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in Ernest Holmes' book, and this happens to be our book of the month, Can We Talk to God?
Mm-hmm.
And Can We Talk to God? Here's what Ernest Holmes says. When the universal mind flows through the individual, it comes to the surface of the conscious mind as an actual experience. Truth comes from the inner to the outer self from God. The universal spirit to God, the manifest person. For every person is a direct manifestation of God. There is a greater mind within each one which may be called upon. There is nothing too small or too great for this mind. Listen, be receptive, believe absolutely, be convinced. The one with a great purpose in life is always consciously or unconsciously holding this purpose up to the universal influx, thus causing an outpouring of divine wisdom through his or her own individual mind.
Amen.
So this is what is going on all the time, whether or not you are aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I say to you, when Daddy comes home, I continue to say to you that Daddy is always home.
Mm-hmm.
Are you home with Daddy?
Mm-hmm.
Ernest Holmes has another book called It's Up to You. And he says, we have not yet found a man or woman who is not afraid of something. Maybe it is only a fear of having people believe we have a fear.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's only a subjective hold over a tendency from our religious forebears who devoutly believe that God must be feared.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it is only the fear of what people will think about us, what we have, what we do, or how we look.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you got all of these things that you're dealing with fear, but nobody wants to admit that they're afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Ernest Holmes clearly says it right here that somebody is afraid of something. he even talks about being afraid to admit that you have fear. If you're not in love, though, you're in fear. There's only two places you can be.
Amen. Amen.
You know when you're in love. It's time that you know when you are in fear. That's not so that you can stay there. That's so that you can get up out of there. Okay? I know we have a lot of fears. You know, some of us may be carrying some fears from way back so long, we can't even remember who we knew back in those days, but we are still carrying some of that fear from even our childhood. You know, we're talking about Daddy this month. You know, when Daddy gets home, what if Daddy don't come home? Was that a fear? Do I even know my daddy? Was that a fear? You know what they say? Mama's baby, daddy's baby. Okay? And what if Daddy did come home and it wasn't a good thing? There's a lot of fear there. There's a lot of fear around, sometimes Daddy needed to come home and be the person who administered some kind of, shall we call it, guidance. Sometimes with an iron fist, unless you lived in the Cleaver home and he just sat down and talked to you when he got home. But here's the thing. I found out that some people have abandonment issues. I know I do. I know I had abandonment issues because my dad left when I was around 12 or so. And he saw me on my bike riding down the alley and he pulled up and he said, I just want you to know that I'm leaving. And I was like, okay. And I didn't know what that meant. He didn't come back home. So I get, that feeling of feeling abandoned is real for a lot of people. And so what happens is we start to project that on other people. Yes. So I actually had somebody come into my office this week and said, I didn't vote for you. I'm like, okay. Because I thought you were going to leave. And so I had 2 people come to my office this week and say, don't leave. Okay? So that makes me think that I need to tell y'all I'm not going anywhere. I get that you got very used to having Reverend E as your minister, but this is really great that she has been here so long, and not all ministers stay that long. Amen. But I'm done hopping across the country, okay? I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that later. But I need y'all to know that it's okay. Ernest Holmes was very interesting when he was sharing about it is you. And I was particularly interested in him talking about, and it's up to you, that we need to rearrange our thoughts about yesterday so that there won't be any fear or hurt carried over into today. He said, it's up to you to look confidently toward tomorrow so that today you won't be plagued by what might happen in the future. Yes. He said you need to get clear about what the purpose of your life is. And I will be talking about that, by the way, and giving you guidance through my visioning workshop on June 24th, which is visioning for your life purpose. Because you really want to find out, as Ernest Holmes says, where you fit in the scheme of this thing called life. Now he mentioned that his very good friend was Joseph Strauss. What does Joseph Strauss have to do with you? Well, he was the one that built the Golden Gate Bridge. Well, here's the thing about Joseph Strauss. He's one of the world's greatest engineers. He not only built the Golden Gate Bridge, but he's built bridges in Oregon and Canada and Houston, just all over North America. And he remembered Strauss, Ernest Holmes remembered Strauss saying to him that there isn't anything impossible if you have the will, the know-how, and the determination to make it come true. If you have the imagination to see it as a completed task and the feeling that all the forces of nature are behind you. Now, I don't know if you understand that this Golden Gate Bridge has been there since 1937. And I don't know if you understand that there have been frequent storms while they were trying to build it. That there was fog while they were trying to build it. That there was a cargo vessel that collided with the access trestle while they were building it. They were blasting rock under deep, 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 deep water to plant earthquake-proof foundations. Now, in 1937, there wasn't that much complex machinery going on. So understand, that's what determination looks like. Understand, that's what know-how looks like. Understand, that's what imagination looks like, when you are supported by knowing that all the forces of nature are behind you, no matter what it looks like. So when you have storms in your life, you have to know that all of nature is behind you. When you're having a foggy moment or lots of foggy moments, you have to know that the forces of nature are behind you. When you are in the middle of having an accident and shaking what seems to be the foundation of your being, you have to know that all of the forces of nature are behind you. When it becomes necessary to blast some rock, and that just simply means this immovable, seeming immovable boulder that is in your head that you refuse to let go of and to be able to plow through that in order to do what you need to do. The forces of nature are behind you. It's important for you to know this, because what Joseph Strauss said to Ernest Holmes was, I'm going to build the biggest things that were ever built. And he did it. But let me tell you where he started. He was hospitalized when he was living in Cincinnati. He was hospitalized laying in the bed, and out the window of his room, he saw a bridge. He's lying flat on his back, okay? And he sees a bridge out the window. And he is a young man, and he is deciding that that is his divine destiny. That's what it feels like when you have all of nature behind you. There is no thing that is not possible when you know this. The beautiful thing about imagination is that it has a way of helping you see things that you may have not even seen before in your life. But once you do catch a glimpse of that, there's something that is sparked within you. There's something that happens that you know, this is something that I have to do. You know that this seems like the next step of my journey that I need to take. There's something about imagination that allows Lisa to write those songs that she was singing this morning. There's something about imagination that allows a composer to be able to compose music underneath some lyrics. There's something about imagination that allows people like me to write books. There's something about imagination that allows people like me to write plays and screenplays and make movies. There's something about the dancer that is able to see themselves dance without knowing the steps. There's something about every person because we are creative beings. Creative beings mean that you are made out of the image and likeness of creativity. That's what God is. God is all things possible. God is, how about this? Maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll do that. But you have to know that it's not just simply coming out of your will. That's how we know the difference between visualizing and visioning. I keep having to teach this all over the country. It's not simply being able to see something that you think you want. It's about feeling into something that is calling you forth because it is part of the unfolding of your soul's journey. So it's important for us to have our mental house in order. Oh, sometimes our mental house is cluttered. Oh yeah, that's all kind of stuff up in there. It's stuff that you don't need, stuff that you're not going to use. Why are you holding on to it? Ernest Holmes was talking, I was listening to him do this radio show. And he was doing radio shows on some of his books. And he was doing this radio show on It's Up to You, one of his books. And he was talking about, you know, your mental house has furniture in it. You know, there's a couch there that you've been sitting on. You got it all relaxed up in it. Right? But, you know, maybe it's time to let go of that couch. I know a little something about that. When I left Los Angeles 12 years ago and went to Chicago, I sold or gave away most of my furniture. And when I got there, my 80-year-old aunt who had just transitioned, it was her house that I was in. And my mother was grieving so much that she wouldn't let me get rid of that furniture. So I had all of this furniture. And when you're starting a church, not taking over a church, hear me now, when you're starting a church, you don't have time to deal with when am I going to move this furniture out, and so you just get used to this furniture being there. So gradually over time, I would release furniture and get new furniture. How many of those thoughts have you been holding on to that should have been gone a long time ago? How many of those pieces of something that are no longer functional are you still holding on to? Yes. I mean, I had a couch before I left Chicago that I had to sit on one end of because if I sat in the middle of, that was my aunt's couch still. Because if I sat in the middle of it, I would have been on the floor. You know I wasn't going to bring that here. It went in the garbage. But there are things that are just simply holding us hostage in our minds. Like a shackle. Like a shackle that you need to find out how to let go of. You got to let it free you up. So that you are free to move and to be who you were divinely designed to be. It's time for you to get your mental house furnished by items of your choice. Not what they said, not what mama said, not what grandma said, not what daddy said, not what your old boss said, not what your old teacher said, all of those people that told you that you can't. Amen. We're simply challenging you. Yes. That was not a directive, that was an option. Yes. And why you chose to take an unfavorable option, I have no idea, but I think it might have to do with some old fear that you had. It might have to do with some old fear that you had when somebody told you that they didn't like you. And oh, I just want to be liked. It might have something to do with that fear when you thought that you got turned down by somebody that you wanted to be with. And you said, oh, I don't know if anybody's going to want me. So there's fear of not being wanted. And you might have something left over from when somebody let you go from a job. And you said, well, I don't know if I'm enough, if I have enough qualifications for this job because they told me no or they told me no more. You know, if there was something that occurred in your life, if there was a guidance counselor that said you're not college material, well, that didn't stop Steve Jobs and a whole lot of other people from becoming billionaires and billionaires, and more importantly, creating new technologies that the world had not seen before. So release those shackles from your mind that are holding you hostage, and really understand that the maybe is not maybe I can, but maybe I should, maybe I could, and maybe I will. Because we want to get off of those old things that we've been holding on to because of what mama did or what daddy did or what daddy didn't do. Don't have diddly squat with you. And I want you to know that when daddy gets home, the real daddy, when God gets a hold of you, when you can really feel the Spirit, when you can really feel the Spirit, then stuff starts to move out of your way. And it doesn't become hard to just let it go. It doesn't become hard to step into something new when something is calling you. I make it a point not to run from something, but to run to something. Oh, y'all know I had a job before I left to come here, don't you? Well, they don't like, well, I'm leaving. Well, what happened? What happened is, God's got something for me to do in Oakland, California, don't you know? God's got something for me to do. And so the response was, well, I can't think of anything more important to do with your life than to answer the calling that your life has on you. Yes. Are you ready to answer the call that your life has on you? Yes. Are you ready to say yes to yourself? Yes. Are you ready to say yes to your magnificence? Yes. Are you ready to step into your true power? Yes. Are you ready to say not maybe, but yes, I can? Yes. Not only yes, I can, but yes, I will. Yes. Not only yes, I will, but yes, I am that I am. That's all I want to know. We have Practitioner Bliss who's coming up with the prayer box, but as she comes up, I just want to know, is Mark Yarborough and Stacy Sadiq and Rebecca Clemens in the house? Well, two of you are here. Come stand down at the bottom of the stairs, why don't you? Rebecca Clemens is here, and Mark Yarborough is on his way. And why don't you take your time, Mark? Here's what I want you to know about them. They are our two newly licensed practitioners here at East.
Let's just take a deep breath in, all together, collective breath. Breathing in the good God life and release. It's already been said.
then I am answered prayer.
Yes, yes.
You are answered prayer.
Yes.
We are answered prayer.
Yes.
So I'm knowing that each and every prayer request that is inside this box, outside of this box, inside of our hearts and minds, has already been answered. It's already answered because, yes, Daddy is always home. Daddy's always home. Daddy's waiting for you to come home. So the prayer request is yes. The answer is yes. For whatever it is, whatever those feelings, those thoughts, whatever it is that you're feeling, whatever it is that you're going through, whatever it is. I'm seeing and noticing a lot of feelings of disconnect in the world right now, where people are feeling alone and making choices based on the fact that they believe themselves to be alone. So if you are feeling disconnected, feeling like no one cares, know that we care. I care. God cares. We are all connected. We are all part of the one. So don't leave here today with a problem, with a question, with sadness, with grief, with that feeling of uncertainty. Don't leave here today with it.
Yes.
Know that what's in the box is prayed up, loved up, and the answer is yes. Know that whatever is in your heart, whatever you came in here carrying, you can just leave it here. You don't have to take it not one more day. Because Daddy is always home. So I'm giving thanks for the opportunity to hold this prayer box, to hold it with love and care, to take care of it, to say God bless you and God loves you. I give thanks for that opportunity to speak a word of thanksgiving, a word of knowing, a word that it is done and done well. And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you to our practitioners. Feel free to add anything to the prayer box at any time. It's always available, and slips of paper available for you to put in the prayer box at any point that you feel you need support. And as always, we are here to say yes as your ecclesiastical staff made up of our practitioners and our ministers available to you. We got some children up in here today. Come on down. We're going to get the money, but let's get the kids in here first. This is a time of gracious giving. I think we have some live streamers with us today. Live streamers, thanks for hanging in there. You too can do some gracious giving. You too can do some gracious giving, live streamers. Those of you who are here in our audience, please take out whatever you have brought to share. Please know that your givingness cannot be God's giving. And please know that your givingness is simply because you've been fed. That's how the law works. Give where you have received and continue to let that process show up in and as your life, and watch God outdo your giving. Mother, Father God, infinite spirit, how great thou art, how infinite. What I know is that what everyone and anyone has brought to this place this day is a blessing. In check form, in cash money, in electronic donate now on the website, at the kiosk. I am knowing that something is happening that is opening up the windows and the doors of their hearts to say, yes, I have been given this, and yes, I am ready to give more. I know that this gratitude that I am giving right now is an indication to all of heaven that I am ready for my divine gifts. Yes. So we say thank you in advance for all of the gifts that are being given. We give thanks for the hearts of the givers. And we give thanks for those who would like to give or for whatever reason are not able to do so. But we know that each one is blessing the baskets, even now as the ushers come forward. And together we say, and so it is. How sweet it is to know that God is giving from itself to itself. That each thing that is given and is on the way electronically is something that is happening to support our programs, our equipment, our staff, and our classes, everything that this community does to reveal the grace of God in the most magnificent way. And so I know that all of these blessings are God's way of supporting this divine idea that is the East Bay Church of Religious Science. I give thanks for it all, and I lovingly release this word, and I let it be, and so it is. Amen. So children, what's been going on?
We have it going on. Yeah. And it's still going on. Yeah. What are we doing? What do we do today?
So today we had a bake sale, and it's a fundraiser for the youth. We're gathering money for a family fun day. And our lesson today was teamwork, how to work together to make something happen.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Hi. Okay, so y'all know we have a fundraiser. So basically, it's not really where you have to pay, but it's where you give what you want to give. So it's not really like you have to pay like over $10 or anything. You can just give what you want to give and help us have a good time and like some other day and pay for something fun. And then I was telling y'all, we've been working so hard back there trying to get people to come. So it would be nice if y'all support us.
Don't be shy, you've been working hard. Let them pay you whatever they want.
Yeah.
I guess I love you so much.
Anyone else? Well, anyone else? No. So we use the team analogy of the warriors. And we talked about how everyone had a role.
Yes.
And if we saw someone who wasn't participating, we went to get them. Because we said it doesn't help us out when you're on the bench. So we enrolled everyone. And we made sure we had everyone's back. And there was one point, because there's a lesson in this, where Fabiana and I were working something, she had set something up, and I came up right behind her and I changed it. And I saw the look in her eyes, and she kind of threw me a little look. And I felt her energy, and I realized she had set it up. And I went and changed the game plan without talking to her. Now, we're just talking about the angle of a table, but you get my point. And so I used it as a teaching with our youth. We came into our huddle, and I shared with humility and vulnerability what I did. And they got it. And my sister got it. And that's part of what we are together in community, learning how to work as a team. Sliders don't have to be this way. I do like the tablecloth lines even, but I can learn to let them go. Everyone brings something. And this team, the name we gave ourselves today, what was the name? SLY. What does it stand for? Come see us after service. We got popcorn, we got a donation jar, we got a lot of love, we got a lot of joy, and we have a lot of gratitude. Thank you so much.
Teamwork, yay! Teamwork, yay! When you're working together, you don't change the strategy in the middle. That's right. We have announcements, cutoffs at Wednesday at noon. That's our game plan. So people don't get to come up, because then everybody will want to come up and make their announcements. So we have order. And if we don't, we will.
Amen.
And in case you didn't get the memo, that's how it is now. So teamwork, yes?
Yeah.
All right. Let's stand for our benediction. Mother, Father God, how infinite, how wonderful. You have revealed yourself time after time as each one of us. And so here as we stand as the body of God, as the faces of God, as the energy of God, as the Spirit of God, we do so now renewed in understanding that it is up to us. And that maybe is no longer an option. Our yes is like God's yes. And we say yes to ourselves. We say yes to more abundant living. We say yes to a greater expanded vision of ourselves, of our lives, and for all of us. And so in gratitude for Daddy being at home, in gratitude for us being at home with Daddy, and in gratitude for the new height in which we are walking, lifted by this grace, I release this word and I let it be. And together we say, and so it is.